Chimera Metastasios is what happens when you store too much volatile black ambrosia and too many monster parts in one place. It is a gelatinous mass that consumes everything it comes into contact with: flesh, wood, metal, even stone. Hunger is all it knows, so it's drawn to cities, cemeteries, and battlefields. For such an enormous creature, it is also great at hiding. It uses ruins as a shell and camouflage, and moves under the cover of night. A creeping acropolis that can crush you and everything you loved in your sleep in a matter of moments.
Welcome back to our playthrough of Aeon Trespass Odyssey Cycle 2. We are going to be doing our second battle in the current timeline day. We're on day 13. We just did a battle with the Burden, and it happened to fall on the same day that we would have a timeline battle. So we're knocking out a couple of battles in a row here, and this one is going to be with the Chimera Metastasios. And I'm sure I will butcher that name at some point in this video and in future videos, and you know, I apologize. I'm doing my best, but some of the words are just a little made up, and sometimes I get a little bit caught up on them. But this is our Chimera. Hopefully this looks okay. I disabled the autofocus on this main camera because I noticed that it was kind of like, during some videos it was zooming in a lot whenever I was moving my hands around, and it seemed kind of annoying to me, so we'll see if this is a better change. But hopefully you can make this out. This is our Chimera. It's a meaty miniature, as most of the primordial miniatures are. Maybe hard to tell from the camera, but we have not one, but two vantage points that we'll be able to unlock on this primordial. I have the spare parts, the little replacement parts for when we unlock those VPs over on the side over there that provide a flatter surface for our Titans to stand on. But as it starts out, we will have none of those vantage points unlocked. We'll put him back there until we're ready to determine primordial positioning. But let's go over who the Chimera Statios really is. Let's really get to know him, you know? Or her, or they. Our Chimera Metastasios sheet is over here. We have a nice, most of our primordial sheets have a nice picture on them, but there's so much text on this one, it's kind of hard to see the picture back there behind it. And despite how much like wall of text is all around this primordial sheet, it's not quite as complicated as it might seem. But I also don't remember everything about this primordial, so we'll be relearning it together. The basic traits here are, it's a 6 or higher to hit, so it's the easiest primordial to date that we have, at least for the attack roll. It has 5 movement and it has 12 health. So this is the first timeline primordial that has more than 10 health. We've only seen that before on the Nietzschean and the Burden, who are two, like our adversary and our cycle boss primordial per se. And if we take a sneak peek down at some later levels of the Chimera, he does get all the way up to 16. So we will have to deal a number of wounds to him at some point. He has a whole extra mechanic called the secondary wound stack that we will, I think it's like during some BPs, or like maybe if you're on a vantage point or inside of the Chimera, I think if you deal a wound at that point, you get to additionally put a wound on the secondary stack. But I forget how all that works completely. It does introduce some other rules that we have in the rule book for like how you do gathering or getting resources and everything based off the wounds you have in the secondary stack. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For right now, let's just go over his traits, their traits. I don't mean to just keep applying gender to this gelatinous blob, but yeah, we'll just keep going over the traits here. Slime Trail we have on the side. Let me grab that card and take a look at that trait. So Slime Trail basically just says, as the Chimera moves, it leaves behind a trail of black ambrosia. After the Chimera ends its movement, place an ambrosia tile directly behind it. So as the Chimera is moving around the map, it's just going to be leaving these large 3x3 ambrosia tiles all around. So we will have to deal with that problem. Ambrosia is going to be a common theme for this primordial. This cycle as a whole, but this primordial is, it's made of ambrosia. So next we have this train trait. I love this little card. It's just such a little fun choo-choo. Basically, this trait is saying the Chimera is going to be doing a lot of pushback. So whenever the Chimera moves, it's always going to move at its full movement value. Remember, its base movement is 5, so it'll always move 5 spaces. And that movement is considered to be a pushback. So normally pushback only works against the target. So if you had like 2 Titans adjacent, let's say here and here, and the Chimera was targeting Logic Breaker, most primordials it would just be, okay, well, pushback rules only apply to the Logic Breaker. The Game Changer is just going to suffer crash and potentially unavoidable knockback if the pushback ends with the primordial on top of the Game Changer. But in the Chimera's case, pushback is going to be resolved against all Titans that are adjacent to the Chimera at the start of that pushback. And yeah, and as well as the target. If, let's see, yeah, even if the target is on the vantage point, the Chimera still moves in the direction it is currently facing. If you have multiple Titans who are suffering that pushback, the combined value of their pushback reduction can be used to reduce the Chimera's pushback. That's what this Titan Wall note says down here. Then we also have nobody stops. If the pushback value is reduced below 3, the Chimera gains positive speed, a positive speed token. So if you are able to manage to just do a good job of doing pushback reduction and trying to get the Chimera's speed down, it's going to get a little compensation for it. And in future movements, it will be able to move faster and faster and faster. So something to consider. You want to be careful with how much you're reducing the pushback, because if you reduce it by too much, you could just be giving the Chimera a ton of movement, which is not always great. Let's see, what else do we have here? This train, Metamorphosis. Okay, this trait is on the card. So if we go to the top here, it's the long and short of this trait is saying that there are multiple states the Chimera can have. It does not start out with any state, but it can be either gelatinous or corrosive or super solid. And the state is going to be determined based off of, is it the last revealed or the last wounded BP card? So every time we deal a wound to the Chimera, we're going to have, let's just pull a BP3 here, for instance, and we'll shuffle the deck. You can see it has a trait up here, corrosive in this case. So every time, if we dealt a wound to this card, then the trait would change to corrosive. And in the corrosive state, the Chimera let's see, it says after you resolve a successful attack, i.e. with at least 1 hit, if your weapon is not stone, relief, divine, hephaestum, cyclopean, mythic, or electrum, exhaust it and gain danger equal to the Chimera level. So at level 1, not a big deal. We don't like exhausting our weapons, but again, that's not something that's horrible to have to deal with. I'm shuffling the BP3s now. But the different states have different effects. Gelatinous, certain weapons would have to deal with +1 to the AT value. Super solid weapons would have to deal with also +1. Okay, yeah. It's just at higher levels, some of these traits can get worse. So, in this cycle, it kind of continues the theme of like, you need to pay attention to the traits that your weapon has, because some of them can be important. You don't necessarily need to over focus on it. I didn't really pay it that much attention when I was setting up for this battle. I think I'm using the same loadout I used for my last Cyclonus battle, just because we don't really have a ton of gear that we're going to be switching between. At level 1, most of these traits are pretty manageable if you're not paying attention to them. It's just meant to kind of introduce you to it. Know that there is some penalty for not paying attention to it. And then as you get more and more gear and you have more and more flexibility with your loadouts, then you might want to consider it more. And we'll see how that plays out. But for now, I didn't really give it that much thought when I'm going into it. So we'll see how much it screws us over, if it does at all. Then the last trait is our simple trait of the Strong Eat, where we get to put an additional You Died obol in our obol decks. I've already shuffled that in. We do have a little blue sticky tab on Hypatia here that she got from one of her Nemos resolutions. I'm going to go over some of the Nemos resolutions and Inwards Odyssey and some of the other story stuff that I covered that I did not record between the last few sets of videos that I did. So I'll go over that, but basically she has a little sticky tab here that says she gets to ignore the Strong Eat trait when like for basically the duration of one battle. So we're going to use that in this battle, and then we will remove that sticky tab, but I'm going to keep that blue one on there for her while we still have that trait. I'm still kind of figuring out how I want to handle remembering that different Argonauts have different bonuses. I was originally just writing the bonus or the affliction in some cases on this little red sticky tab, but some of them are long-winded. In the burden battle that we just did in the previous video, we drew a Moira's card, and the orphan had the event, the Fateful Visitant or something like that. I think that was it. And the bonus that she got from that is, if I can pull it up, that after surviving an obol draw, you lose 1 fate. So that's excellent for her if she is normally piloting the Logic Breaker, because when she survives an obol, Logic Breaker can do, let me go over to the right page here. She can do the Logic Break ability where she can spend a fate to perform a combat action, which can be treated as a bonus attack. And so when she gets to -1 fate, she can, it's basically getting that Logic Break ability for free. But as we're getting more and more bonuses and all these things on our Argonauts, it's kind of annoying to just have to try to write all of them on these little sticky tabs. So I'm going to start by I'm just going to throw a sticky tab on them if they have at least 1 trait. And then on my laptop here, I'm just going to keep up the little Argonauts tab on Scribe to be able to see if I can get a quick view of what the traits are. I don't know. I don't think this is great. Like, I really like having all the information immediately there in front of me. Maybe what I'll resort to is I might end up just getting like little pieces of paper and just putting them on their Titan sheet or something like that, and just being able to reference that when it comes up. I think that's what I did in my first playthrough, but I was honestly just kind of too lazy to do that. Because before I was like cutting them up nicely and making it look really clean, and it took me like the whole 2 minutes, and I can't afford to spend 2 minutes doing something. It's a lot. I have Aeon Trespass to play. Okay. I think that covers all of its traits. Oh yeah, so we have the vantage points. I think we've covered in previous videos how the vantage points work, but we haven't actually used them before. Vantage points, you usually unlock them by getting like a crit effect on certain BPs, and then they'll unlock the vantage point, and then if you want to get on the vantage point, then you have to be adjacent to the primordial, and you can voluntarily do a climb test. Climb test is usually using Fury as the trait. If you successfully pass that test, you climb on top of the vantage point and you get some kind of like bonus to your attack, or maybe the responses for your for the BPs are overridden and maybe are a little bit more tolerable to deal with, or something to that effect. Usually it's just a positive thing to be attacking from the vantage point, and that's why they start off locked and they're hard to usually get. But the Chimera, they're easier than usual to unlock and Not necessarily to climb on, but we should be able to see some Titans get on vantage points this time. I did mention the secondary wound stack that the Chimera has. I moved the wound counter dice over to the side here. Maybe we'll put a little bit closer like that. Maybe they're getting a little bit less glare here. We'll see. But we're going to use this die as like our die for counting the wounds in the normal stack, and then this die will be counting the wounds in the side stack. If we get a wound in that little side secondary stack, we'll just kind of toss it over to the side here. But I do like having those counters there. It's just a quick reference for how many wounds we've dealt total. And then in terms of that metamorphosis trait, I'm just going to be using a little thing on the primordial sheet. Oh geez, just this little tab here to track what state it's in. But like I said at the start of the fight, it does not have a trait that it starts with. I did cover this in the Burden video, but in case you didn't see that one, we did unlock this 13th Muse Grand Cannon, which is, it's essentially an Argo ability. It doesn't take up an Argo ability slot, but it's a separate ability that at the start of the Titan round, you can roll a d10 and try to prime the cannon. And on a 6 or higher, you successfully prime it. And when you prime it, you choose one of these shots that you want to prime it with. So the 3 different effects you could choose are, 1, you could have a shot that's ready to disable Hardened if you see Hardened come up on a BP card. You could charge a shot to just immediately create a VP on a Primordial, which is excellent. And probably one that we would most likely be using in this fight with the Chimera. And then you could charge a shot that can break a combo. So this Primordial, the Chimera, doesn't do combos, so we don't have to worry about that here. But it's noteworthy that not only do you have to like roll a die to prime the cannon, and you have 2 charges of the cannon that you can use each battle, but you have to spend a resource. I think is it when you prime it? Let's see, at the start of the Titan round, you may choose an effect from the payload card and roll a d10. On a 6+, the cannon is primed. It remains primed until you decide to prime a different effect or the battle ends. And then when you shoot it, the effect is called the God Killer shot. When the cannon is primed, discard 1 charge and lose the... Okay, so it's only when you fire it. Okay. Then it has emergency priming as a reaction during a window of opportunity, or after drawing a BP card. You may discard 1 charge to perform an emergency priming, immediately choose an effect from the payload card, and roll for priming as normal. So emergency priming is basically just being able to, if you didn't get it primed before or you just forgot to, you can try to prime it in a reaction window, which can be helpful. Like if you're trying to break a combo and you didn't prime it during the Titan round. You failed to prime it during the Titan round. Okay, I think with that, I think we're ready to start the battle. I think we've covered the Chimera. Let's see, we're almost 20 minutes in. Okay, let me grab some water really quickly and we'll get this fight on the road. We will draw a minor trauma to determine our primordial positioning. And we got Fateful Wound, which is going to cause him to face to the east. East you go. All right, let me double check, make sure to put the Titans back in the right spots as I was moving them around there while explaining things. Yeah, that looks right. Okay, cool. So we will draw our AI card. We got Ambrosia Expulsion. The target is the furthest Titan in sight and zone 1 around it. Okay. So this is going to be a range attack with unlimited range. Furthest Titan in sight. So everybody is the same distance right now. Everybody is essentially 2 spaces away from the primordial. but zone 1 around it, well, the tiebreaker is going to go to logic breaker, so it will be logic breaker as the primary target. And zone 1 around logic breaker would put game changer in that zone. So oh, actually, also, is there an Argo ability I want to swap out here? I might want to swap out Teleresuscitation. I will, yeah. Apologies, I'm doing this a little bit late, but that's okay. I think the Chimera does do some exhausting of weapons and gear, so I want to be prepared with that. And we're replacing our Argo ability that allows us to stand up with the Argo ability that allows us to unexhaust gear cards on our Titans. Okay, so during this first ability window or first window of opportunity, I think I'm just going to use a Charge of Pursuer Protocol and get the game changer out of zone 1 of our logic breaker, so he's not going to be subject to the attack. Then our logic breaker will have to roll 2 dice at 8 or higher. And let's see, what is the risk of what we're going to take here? We could gain an ambrosia token, and then each hit deals 1 danger. So, okay, not too bad, but ambrosia gain is going to be common in this fight, so we would like to avoid it if we can. Notably, this card also does not say that the primordial moves, so if there was any part on here that said move and attack, that's when the this train ability would kick in and the Chimera would just move at its full speed, regardless of how close the Titan was. Okay, so we need 8 or higher. We don't have any evasion bonuses, but we do get 2 free rerolls from Temeno's Scale Shield. It's gonna be a 5 and a 2. I will take those rerolls. Boom. That is not gonna be any evasions. I don't think I care to try to block here because it's only one danger per hit, and we do still have armor dice, but we're gonna get an ambrosia token regardless. Put that here. And then we will get our armor dice and try to do an armor roll. And that is going to be 0s. So we are going to take 2 danger. Get these dice right side up. Also, you guys need a break apparently, because you have not done well. So 2 danger to the logic breaker. And we will draw a minor trauma. Just 1 trauma, please, not 2. And we're going to get 1 rage. Okay. Cool. Logic breaker goes to 1 rage, 0 fate, and 2 danger. And that's going to end that attack. Not too bad. Oh, I did not talk about this absorbed card over here. There are cases where the Titan can be absorbed into the Chimera. Is there anything that's worth talking about here? I think we'll talk about it basically when we get into what's it called? If we ever get absorbed, that's what we'll address that trait. But there are some times where your Titan can literally just get swallowed up and put inside of the Chimera. I'll take this and put this over here. And since it is the start of the Titan round, let's try to prime the cannon with that relief, relief shredder shot. That's the one that can allow us to create a VP. And I actually I don't know if this is a mistake, or maybe I got it from an adventure. I do have one of the resources that I would need to be able to use that shot. I have a chimeric tar resource. So this is the first fight that I'm doing with the Chimera Metastasios, so I don't know where I got this from. I'm just assuming I probably got it from an adventure, but I actually don't remember. So hopefully it's not a mistake that I have, and then I'm going to assume that it is correct. So we need to roll a d10, and on a 6 or higher, we prime it. As a 2, we do not prime. 0. think as usual, I'll go first with my Earthshaker because he gets the cold open trait. And we can get into a rear space there. The Chimera does not have blind spots, he just has rear spaces. So let's go with Earthshaker, activate. Also, I'm going to try to be better about using my left hand to point out things and move miniatures as opposed to using my right hand, because my right hand is much more likely to be blocking the camera. So especially in the burden fight, there were cases where I was like trying to show examples of things and my right arm was just blocking half the shot. So apologies for that. I will try to be better about that. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna get into one of those rear spaces there. Then, is there anything else we want to do before we attack? I don't think so. We're gonna do our attack. We'll get 1 rage, then we will activate cold open, which gives us an opening and a break. We'll get 2 dice for Pyrsclypios. We have +2 from the Pyrsclypios and the opening token. Then we have -2 from being in a rear space and dread. So we're at +0 total. Just bump the exposure a bit on the camera there because it was looking kind of low. I have different settings now for nighttime and daytime, at least when it's dark outside versus when it's light outside, because I think that seems to affect our dice camera the most. But anyway, so we are going to have +0 to hit total. That's okay though, because we only need a 6 or higher to hit. Let's go ahead and roll our attack. It's going to be a 7 and a 2. I mean, I guess we'll keep the 7 and then we'll fate reroll the 2. I'm tempted to like just try to go for like a lot of crits in general on this, because if I remember correctly, the Chimera actually has a decent amount of like good gear from crits, unlike the Cyclonus, who I hate, the Cyclonus fists or whatever they are. That's a 9. Okay, so that wounds. We'll get a BP1. We have no first ability tokens. Yeah, no. Okay, so we're just gonna draw a card. And we have Lesser Temple, which is going to be a AT value of 5. Yeah, okay, the lighting looks okay there now. AT value of 5. It'll be super solid if we wound it. So for the next, that will affect our other Titans during their attacks, but for this one we don't do anything. And wound responses: create 1 vantage point if both VPs are already created. Place 1 generic token on the VP section of the primordial sheet. So this is what I was saying. It's much easier to create vantage points against this primordial. And the generic tokens, the effect that they have is that they reduce the difficulty of the climb test and the hold on test. So there's a lot of cards, I think, that have that wound responsive create a vantage point, and so that's why there's some benefit to, you know, even once you've created both vantage points, you can still try to get some good things out of it. So we got 2 hits. We're gonna get 2 black, 2 red. We have 1 bonus power, so we only need 4 or higher on this. It's gonna be 2, 4, 5, 6 plus 1 from the bonus, so 7 power total. That's an easy wound. Go ahead and put these on the good sides here, because that was a good power roll. Well, at least from the black dice. Red dice were okay. And then we're going to get our wound response of creating a vantage point. Let's go ahead and pop this back one off. Put that over here. Let's go to this camera. And we need this one that has a little platform. Put him back in the same facing direction. Our vantage point is now colliding with our Earthshaker there. So, do a quick camera show of that. You can see it just kind of sticks out a little more and has that flat point that we can actually just put the Titan on. Don't die, Logic Breaker. Not unless you can get off a bonus attack. Okay. Yeah, some of the sometimes the minis kind of protrude out of their designated spaces there, but they're cool enough that it's okay. We are all right with that. We'll put this in our wound stack. We don't get any, there's nothing to indicate that we get an extra secondary wound there, so we only have 1 wound out of 12. Then we will get a BP2 in our BP deck here. 3, 2, 1. Oh gosh. 3, 2, 1. BP1. Take out an AI1 and replace it with an AI2. 3, 2, 1. AI1. And clear the Kratos pool. Oh, we did our Face Your Fears effect. We will get 3 positive precision tokens. And we will leave 2 opening and, oh yeah, actually that's it. We're just gonna leave 2 opening because we are still just at 1 rage with Earthshaker. Okay. I may reposition back 1, because I don't remember if there's, I mean, I know he places the ambrosia tiles, the ambrosia trails for after the Chimera moves, but I may just reposition backwards 1 just to not be adjacent to him. So I don't remember if he has other effects that could be like zone attacks or something like that around him, but I'm not too worried about getting Earthshaker into position for another attack in the next round because he has the Aeol Pile Engine, he has Minoan Heritage, so he can get up to like +3 movement, and he has the Advanced Reflex from Pursuer Initiative, so I feel comfortable with moving him back 1 space, during at least 1 space during that reposition. And yeah, I think that's all we're doing with him. We do want to be a little bit careful about the Chimera moving east, because these city tiles, while I don't think they should get destroyed with him moving on it because they're not considered destructible or reinforced destructible, they do have the inhabited trait. So if the Chimera moves, let's say, moves to here, for instance, and then has to put a ambrosia trail behind it, then that ambrosia trail would overlap with this city tile and this column, and because neither of them are indestructible, the ambrosia trail would replace those tiles. So that would count as that city getting destroyed, I think, for the purposes of the inhabited trait, and we would lose a diplomacy with, I don't remember the tile space that we're on, like what faction of the space is, but we would lose a diplomacy with them, and we don't really want to do that. But at least during the first movement, if the Chimera moves 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to be in like centered on this space. So the ambrosia tile would be going centered on this space. And if it moves 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh wait, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's where the front would be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where the top right corner would be. It's centered here, and then it would put, okay. So I don't think we're really at risk of that ambrosia trail overlapping with that city unless I place the city wrong or unless I am playing something wrong, but I think we're safe. I think we're okay. I do need to put some of these exhaust tokens on my Titans that I forgot to put back after swapping from the Dreamwalkers that we were using in the Burden fight. Maybe go next with Logic Breaker. He's adjacent right now. Wait. Why is he adjacent? Did I move things around by accident? Okay, I'm gonna feel silly when I go back to rewatch this video because he started out here. Like that is one of the starting Titan spots. The Primordial has not moved yet. We used the reflex on Game Changer to get him out of the zone 1. Our trauma card was getting a rage. It had nothing to do with movement. I don't think we ever reflexed with Logic Breaker. Maybe I accidentally moved it when I was moving the primordial about. Probably. I'd like him to be adjacent just for the sake of me being able to just not have to move. Oh, I do keep forgetting about his start of battle effect, or the orphan start of battle effect with you may move 1 space towards the primordial. I may have actually done that, but way too late now. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put the Logic Breaker there because I don't see why the Logic Breaker would have been there. I think they should still be in the position they started the fight in. So in that case, I think what I'll do instead is have Skyseer go. And she will, let's say, move here. And let's have her use her, this is, it's a Fury test of 8 or higher, and Telebacus only has +1 to Fury, I believe. Telebacus, is that true? Yes, you only have +1 to Fury. So let's use Scale. So gain a fate, and we'll just get to succeed on our climb test here. And it says when you're about to perform a climb test, automatically succeed at that test instead. So it's not like you can roll for it, see how you do, and then decide you want to use Scale. You have to use it as soon as you initiate that climb test before you roll. But we are now on a vantage point. Is this the first time we're on a vantage point in a video? Maybe we did it once against the Labyrinthuros in Cycle 1. I don't think we did though. Not on video. So yay, we're on a vantage point. Woo! Good job, everybody. Look at how cool that is. How does that look on camera? Oh, I mean, that's actually kind of one of the benefits of having the primordial just as gray, like with the dry brushing, and having the Titans painted. You can pretty clearly make them out on the primordial there. Nice, that's fun. Oh, also, I did forget that because our Lesser Temple, the last card that we wounded with Earthshaker, that was super solid, so the trait for the Chimera is now super solid, which means I did not take this into account when I started the Skyseer's turn, but oh well, too bad, we already did the climb test and everything. If attacked with a club, cestus, slab sword, or shield weapon, the Chimera has +1 AT value. Club, cestus, slab sword, or shield is not one of the traits on Horizon's Edge. It is Scythe, Bone, and Celestial. So we do not have to worry about that. It'd be fun if Horizon's Edge said, while in the blind spot or on a vantage point, you have deadly, but it only says blind spot. But I think we're ready to just go and initiate our attack. So we'll gain a rage. I don't think we want to use Arrow Barrage because we'll get 1 auto break from Skyseer. We'll get 2 dice here. And we'll have +2, +3, +4, precision, right? So we just need a 2 or higher to hit. That is going to be a 7 and a 2. We will take that. We will get auto break 1. And we will draw our PP. We have Shapeless Mass with an AT value of 3. It will be gelatinous. It says if you are adjacent or on a VP, you may be immediately absorbed. Okay, so absorbed, let's go over absorbed really quickly. I'm not going to put it in a little card slot here. I'm just going to read it to you because there's a lot on it. When you are absorbed, place your Titan here on this card. As long as you are absorbed, you cannot move voluntarily or involuntarily, and you attack as if you were on a VP. Indigestion. If there are any absorbed Titans when the Chimera suffers a secondary stack wound, place 1 generic token under each Titan miniature here. Then, if there are 2 or more generic tokens under a miniature, that Titan is regurgitated. Place their miniature on an empty space adjacent to the Chimera. At the end of a Titan round, each absorbed Titan gains 1 ambrosia token and draws an obol. Discard all generic tokens under the absorbed Titans. The Zeus god form has +1 power when absorbed. If you are ever absorbed while being absorbed, you die. I think that applies to everybody, not just the Zeus god form. And then at the end of the battle, each still absorbed Titan resolves the belly knot special event. If I remember correctly, the belly knot special event is a positive thing. So I think the reasons, if I remember right, the reasons why you might want to be absorbed is that you can basically attack as if you were on a vantage point without actually being on a vantage point. The risk is so you're not taking up a vantage point space. So it's a way to have more than 2 Titans being on vantage points during the round. The downside is that at the end of the Titan round, each absorbed Titan gains 1 ambrosia token, not bad, and draws an obol. That can be bad. While I feel pretty confident that even if we chose to get absorbed with Skyseer right now, we could get another Titan to do an attack that would deal, like, she would put 1 generic token under herself after dealing a wound here. Another Titan could do the same thing. I feel pretty confident about doing that again this round, but I also just don't really see the benefit of it right now. I don't think I want to risk, let's see, could Game Changer reflex? No. I mean, Skyseer could reflex too if we wanted to. Thinking, yeah, no, I think there's limited benefit to doing this. I just don't want to risk it with the Skyseer Titan because the Skyseer Titan is my hardest to recreate, and so I want to reduce the risk that we would have to recreate her. So we will not do that for now. And we are not creating the second VP from this BP card. So, all right, we rolled 2 hits. Put this back on the crit side. And that's going to be 2 red, a black, and then another red. And we only need 3. Should be easy. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 total. We don't need to do any rerolls. Did we have a reroll if we needed it? No, we did not. Okay. These will come out. They'll come out. Exhaust your active weapon. That's lame. That's fine. I mean, that's part of the reason why we brought reflex priming as an Argo ability. Okay, so we'll take that and we will wound it, put it in the regular wound stack, and because we dealt a wound from a vantage point, we are now going to get a wound in the secondary stack. So we are technically at 3 wounds total right now. Okay. And it's going to give us a BP2 in our BP stack here. 3, 2, 1. BP1. Okay. Like that last shuffle, I don't actually think I shuffled. I think I just put the cards right back on top. AI1 comes out. AI2 goes in. 3, 2, 1. AI1. Who are we on there? Skyseer. Okay. And second ability window. I think we're gonna get, oh yeah, we're not gonna get any of the tokens because this is an exhausted weapon. And shoot. I did forget about that. So we're just gonna get 1 opening token. We do have reposition 2 from our Kratos table, so we can use that. Do I want to use that? Maybe. Because I can always use reflex priming to unexhaust her weapon so she can still attack next round. And at least this way I can get Game Changer on a vantage point. Yeah. Okay. So let's reposition her. Let's spread the Titans out a little bit. Let's go 1, 2. And we will end Sky Seer's turn there, I think. Yeah. Also, it is worth noting, maybe I don't want to reposition. You cannot use reflex priming to unexhaust like an ability on Titan sheet, for example. I don't think you can because it explicitly says 2 gear cards among up to 2 Titans, not just like unexhausts anything, specifically gear cards. So you couldn't use it for Nemoses either. That's fine. Let's stick with this. We will end her turn. Boom. Then maybe we'll do Game Changer and then Logic Breaker. I guess. Does Logic Breaker have reposition? No. Okay. So yeah, let's do Game Changer. Boom. Let's go move up 1. And we will do our climb test as we try to climb onto that vantage point. So we need to test Fury of 8 or more. And Hypatia has +2 to Fury. So we need a 6 or higher. 7. Oh, yeah, I'll fate reroll that. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 7 succeeds. She only needed a 6 or higher. I will not fate reroll that. I will keep that. I like that. So Game Changer climbs onto that same vantage point that Sky Seer just attacked from and is about to attack with his Temenos Xiphos. Oh, I forgot I had this. So this grappling hook card is a cycle 1 card, but I got it from a Nemos checkpoint or whatever it's called, I forget. So it automatically gets bumped up to a cycle 2 piece of gear. So the way I marked that in our cargo in Scribe here was I added the grappling hook, and then I had went into the Metastasios section and marked it as ascend without cost. So these Aeolipile engines, we did ascend with cost, so it cost us some of the tiers that we obtained while in Metastasios Theater, but the grappling hook was basically just a free ascended thing. And these are, I think I probably mentioned this about ascended things before, but when you ascend using the Metastasios Theater resources, it's not the same as like giving an object or a gear card the ascended keyword. It's just saying it's raising it to that cycle's power level. So while something with the ascended keyword we could use in basically every cycle without having to apply the ascension rules, we can only use these Aeolipile engines and the grappling hook in cycle 2 without ascension penalties, unless we were to ascend them again to cycle 3 power level, and so on and so forth. Okay, anyway. Boom. Back to Game Changer. I think we're ready to attack. I have to remember that we have +1 precision from repurposed Cryptex here. So let's do gain a rage. And we will attack. See, we're going to have 1 die. Boom. And we're going to have +2 from Temenos Xiphos, +1 for the opening token, +1 from repurposed Cryptex. That's +4 total, I believe. So 2 or higher will do it. And we don't have any auto break or anything like that. So yeah, we'll use Arrow Barrage to get a break token in here. I don't think I explained what the grappling hook was though. Grappling hook says during an attack, When you reveal a BP card with a critical hit that creates a vantage point, immediately gain a crit chance. So also something that can be very good against the... actually, it's fine. It's just fine, I think, against the Chimera, because I think if the card has a crit chance or a crit response that creates a VP, it most likely also has the wound chance that does that too. Maybe there's some differences there in terms of like maybe some cards only have it on the crit chance, but I think it's pretty common to be able to create VPs anyway on Chimera. So I just have extra gear slots, so I don't care about taking up space with it. So all right, we need just a 2 or higher here. Oh, okay, well we got just what we needed. We got a 2. Okay, sorry, I had to run upstairs real quick. Where was I at? I think I was just about to draw the BP, right? Yes, we just rolled a 2. Drawing BP, we don't have any first ability window things, right? No, we just have power reroll from Metastasios. Okay. We have title. Oh, I do need to remember, because I'm forgetting this constantly. We are on gelatinous now from wounding this shapeless mess. What is gelatinous? Is this going to screw me with our attack here? If attacked with a weapon other than club, cestus, slab sword, or shield, Chimera has +1 to its AT. Okay, so we are going to have to deal with that because we are attacking with the Metastasios. Darn, if I remembered that, I might have chosen to attack with Temenos Scale Shield, but too bad. We did not. Dang, okay, that's my fault. I just need to remember to be better about that updating that trait. So title mass, it will be corrosive if we wound it. If you are adjacent or on a VP, you may be immediately absorbed. No thank you. On wound, we can create a vantage point if both VPs are already created. Place 1 generic token in the VP section. Oh, interesting. There's a wound and an instinct response. Oh, gain 2 ambrosia tokens as the instinct response. Ooh, we could gain the muck virus. Wait a okay. Actually, I think this could be something that the grappling hook is good for. Because even though the wound response also creates a vantage point, I don't see why we can't. I mean, the crit effect does also create a vantage point. So I'm going to use grappling hook to gain a crit chance here, because then that also means we don't have to deal with that ambrosia. Okay, so we need 5 or higher. We need 5 or higher. All right, and we're gonna have 2 red. I can't wait to replace the Metastasios. I maybe should have just transformed it and done it with the whip side, but because at least I can get up to 3 red dice. Let's see. Yeah, okay, we need 5. We could have 2 power reroll. We have 1 power reroll, but we could have 2, which is using both of the 2 would be kind of annoying for our, oh shoot. Well, we're probably gonna want to use both of them. So roll these 1 at a time here. Ooh, all right, come on. I need something really good on the side. Ugh. Shoot, let me think here. I mean, definitely re-rolling this one. Now, let's see, for the red die, what's the odds that we could do better than... I'm gonna assume that we're gonna end up using the break token on the black die, because the black die, what is it? It's only one side. Yeah, it's only one side that doesn't have a potential symbol. So the black die is almost certainly going to be using that break. So for the red, what's the chances that we can do better than just that 1 power? Really low, because the only thing that's better is the double-sided power. So I think what we actually want to do is re-roll the black and the red. I'm going to use the second re-roll here and sacrifice the break in the opening for that second ability window. I don't think that's going to do it. 3, 4. No. Darn. Darn. Just doing one last check to see if there's anything that I could have forgotten before. No, I don't think so, unfortunately. Dang, that's a shame. Because I think that muck virus is also the virus that I was thinking of before. I think muck virus is like the really good virus. Dang, okay, well, hopefully we'll get it some other point. So we are still going to end up suffering the instinct response because we didn't actually wound on the crit. So we will gain 2 ambrosia tokens. It's not terrible for Game Changer because at power level, or at 2 rage, he'll be able to get elation and start getting rid of some of those ambrosia tokens. That's what it does. I'm pretty sure muck virus is the one that has elation on it. There's a virus that has elation. Sorry, this is spoilers. I'm just trying to remember what the good virus does. And I think it has elation on it, and that's why it's so good. Okay, so we're gonna take these out. So go into our BP discard stack. And let's see, second ability window. We don't have a lot. We can just do break 2, I think, from Metastasios. No opening tokens. Man, if I had remembered that about the gelatinous trait, I would have attacked with a Temino Scale Shield, and we would have only had to deal with a 4 AT value. I hate the Metastasios. I don't know what it doesn't seem that bad, but every time I use it, I'm like, I don't like it. And I don't like it. It's nice that it leaves 2 break. And it gets a power reroll. Whatever. I'll be excited to replace it. Okay, that's gonna end his turn. It's gonna end his turn, and then last we just have to go with Logic Breaker. Oh, and actually in this fight, I have not been paying attention to this, but we haven't had to worry about it. I did forget about it though. In this fight, we have to be moving the priority target around with the rage gain, because what usually prevents that is the combo traits that Primordials usually have. And since Chimera does not have that, there's nothing to say that, oh, you don't move the priority token based on rage. So in this fight, we do that. All right, so with Logic Breaker, let's just come here. Because then if he gets pushed back by the Chimera, he'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go here. Won't have to worry about crash or anything like that. We'll try to avoid him getting knocked down, because I don't think we've used Logic Breaker's Logic Break ability yet either, because anytime we've had the opportunity to do it, we've been knocked down. I think that only really came into play in the final Teminos fight, but anyway. All right, so we're activating Logic Breaker. We're going to attack. We have +1. I think that's it. Oh, sorry, no, +2 precision, because he has 3 labyrinth gear. So we'll need a 4 or higher to hit. Boom. Crit. Nice. Okay, we will get auto break 1. And let's move this back out of the way over here. And I don't see any other, oh, nope, it's 2 auto break. Because we have 1 from the puzzle axe. Okay, so then we're gonna draw this BP1. Ooh, we have the goat head, which is, also, in this case, I don't think I would have attacked the Temino Scale Shield. In this case, I was just dumb. I wasn't even thinking about it after I just complained about not thinking about it, but I probably still would have attacked with Puzzle Axe because more red dice anyway. But we will have to deal with a 5 AT instead of a 4. Let's see, if your weapon has the axe trait, immediately place 1 break token. Wow, we're gonna have 5 break tokens for this. Nice. And let's see, if we wound, let's see, crit. Create 1 vantage point if both VPs are created. Place 1 generic token in the VP section. Gain +1 Nemos node for a chosen Nemos. Disable the Goat Spasm AI card. Okay. Is the Goat Spasm card bad? I don't remember. Okay, so we're gonna need 5, but we have a bunch of breaks, so hopefully that's enough. Oof. Oh, that might be enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we're good. That'll wound. We got a crit, so we're gonna create a vantage point. We're gonna create the other one here. We were not on a VP when we wounded this. Maybe I should have gotten, oh no, I couldn't have, because the other one was not created. Ah. Come on. There we go. And then place 1, nope, that doesn't apply. Gain +1 Nemos node for a chosen Nemos, and then disable the Goat Spasm AI card. Okay, so let's go to this view, Argonauts. This is the Orphan. Let's choose one. Death Proceeds and A Night to Remember are both pretty good. I mean, if I had to pick between them though, I do really like A Night to Remember, so I'm going to give a node to Death Proceeds. Yeah, I think I'd put her name on. Yeah, I put her name on the timeline anyway because I wanted to start getting additional nodes. I think for Death Proceeds to make that the dominant one. They're both good though. It's just A Night to Remember's level 1 ability is just awesome. Okay. Back to this. And then, all right, so I'm gonna have to put this off to the side here so I remember that we don't have to deal with the Goat's Spasm. So we're now at 3 regular wounds, 1 wound in the secondary stack. We're gonna get another BP2 into this pile. Oh gosh. 3, 2, 1. BP1. Wow, we're just getting all the BP1s. AI1 comes out. AI2 goes in. 3, 2. Oh god. Oh my gosh. I swear, it's like as soon as I start doing a countdown. 3, 2, 1. AI2. Okay. No biggie. And then we're going to take out these break tokens and we're going to leave 1 opening. Oh, how much did we beat the... Oh, I should have power re-rolled. Well, dang, man, this is my problem with when I feel like when I'm recording, I just forget so many more. I don't have a good memory in general, but like when I'm recording, I feel like I'm thinking more about what I want to say as opposed to paying attention to the things I need to be paying attention to, because I totally forgot about overbreak. Whatever. We're just going to say I didn't do it. So I'd only get an opening token and that's it. Dang it. And nothing else that we're going to do from that. End his turn. We will ready our Argonauts, remove this. We'll go into the primordial round. We have, oh, and we're still on gelatinous for our current metamorphosis physical state. Putrefaction. Target is closest Titan in front in range. That'll be Logic Breaker. Oh, and he should be at 2 rage actually. Does that change anything that we got? We could get an extra opening token. Because he got 1 rage before from the, what was it, the trauma. So pushback and attack. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to end up getting destroyed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This tile only flips if the primordial is pushed back onto it, not if he moves onto it voluntarily. So then let's go Logic Breaker here. Nope, this one. We have 5 dice. 3, 4, 5, and we need a 7 or higher to evade. We'll have 2 free rerolls. And we're going to get 1 ambrosia token per hit. Ooh, okay, so we want to try to evade as many of these as possible, and we may end up wanting to use block on the scale shield. Okay, so that is 1 evade, 2 evades, 3 evades, and 2 hits. We'll get 2 free rerolls here. That is, we got a crit evade fail. No penalty that I see. That's an evade, and do we just want to block that one? Yeah, sure, let's do it. Let's gain a fate, we'll block it, and then we are not dealing with any ambrosia or danger. Nice. That'll end that attack, and we're back into a Titan round. And at the start of a Titan round, we will roll to try to prime our 13th Muse Grand Cannon. Although actually, I don't think it matters, because if you instruct it, oh yeah, no, we can, because maybe we still want to use it. Nah, I'll save that resource. Oh, actually, sorry. At the end of the primordial round, Game Changer needs to make an endurance test here. Hypatia has what bonus to endurance? Just +1. And the hold on test is endurance of 6 or higher, so she needs a 5. That's a 3. We'll fate reroll that. That's a 10. That succeeds, so we stay on the VP. And yeah, I'm not going to bother priming the cannon. I only have the 1 resource. We're going to get some more Chimera resources now, but early on in the cycle, like, those resources are fewer and further between, so let's just save it. Also, during that pushback, I could have reduced the pushback with Logic Breaker's Labyrinth Armor, but I just didn't really see the need to reduce it, because I don't think, if it would have gotten other people out of range, I might have considered it, but I kind of just want to get the Chimera out of that area with the city tile in it. I did, however, forget about that. All right, I'm just going to go with not Logic Breaker, Game Changer. I kind of just want to get his turn out of the way. He's such a good Titan, but I feel like because I just have crappy weapons on him, I'm just so not excited to take his turns. At least I haven't been rolling well with him. Go first. I'm going to use Arrow Barrage so we can get a break token in here. And we are going to attack with the Temenos Scale Shield this time. It's going to be 2 dice. It's +1 from this, +1 from Repurposed Cryptex. So +4 total. We only need to 2 or higher to hit. We go up to 2 rage here. It's going to be a 6 and a 10. I'll take that. Boom. Boom. We have the Parabolos Wall Remains. Let's see, on a wound, we can put a generic token on here to make the climb and hold on tests easier. So we only have to, yeah, it's going to be 4 because we don't have to worry about the +1 from Gelatinous. So we're going to get 2 red and a black, I think is right. And potentially have 1 power reroll, but hopefully we don't need it. Let's go 1 at a time here. Boom. Nope. Let's do. Okay. Boom. So what is that? That's 3, 4. Okay, so we don't need to reroll. Create 1 vantage point already created. The primordial sheet. Okay, so I'm just going to track this here. I'm going to use a counter die for myself. And then this will go into our wound stack. I'll go up to 4. We are on a VP, so we'll get a wound in the secondary stack as well. Then we will get that was a BP1, so we'll get another BP2 in here. Did I? 3, 2, 1. BP2. Did I not escalate something at one point? We have, oh no, okay, this is right. Because we have 4 BP1s in here in our wound pile. And this one, so that's 4. Okay, yeah, and we still have 2 BP2s in this pile here. Okay, so we're good. We will take an AI2, replace an AI1. So we're at 50% of the way to killing him. 3, 2, 1, AI2. And any overbreak? No overbreak. I'm going to be conscious about thinking about this now. Boom. Let's get these in front now. Let's get these in front. Clear the Kratos pool, and we are just going to get... actually, this might be exactly what we're going to get. Nope, there will be 3 opening and a break. So we can get 1 opening from the scale shield, an opening from our Kratos table, and then we have Elation 1, so we can replace an Ambrosia with an opening. So in these fights against the Chimera, Elation is great. Really, throughout, like especially in cycle 2, I think, and in most cycles, Ambrosia is a problem. So that's why Elation is just like a really good thing to have, because in most cycles you usually have at least a primordial who deals a fair amount of ambrosia. So Elation is good. Okay, then do we have anything else we want to worry about here? I don't think so. Boom. We are done with Game Changer. And the trait that we have now is Super Solid. So Super Solid says if attacked with a club cestus slab sword or shield. So Super Solid is just the opposite of gelatinous. So really we can attack with basically anybody and we'll be good. And we have a BP2 up top. Maybe I'll go with, yeah, Game Changer does not have any reposition. Maybe I'll go with Skyseer next. And that way, if we end up getting a BP3, I'll save that BP3 for Earthshaker. We can go next with Skyseer, use the Reflex Priming to get her Scythe back. Maybe I'll also just use that to get Logic Breaker's Temino Scale Shield back as well. That could be nice. It's the only other gear that we have exhausted. And then after she wounds, because I'm going to have a positive mindset about that, she's going to wound. She can reposition off, and then maybe we go after that with Game Changer and get on the VP. Or even Logic Breaker, maybe. I've just been keeping Logic Breaker off the VPs because I kind of want him taking most of the attacks right now. So, okay, let's do that. We will go with Skyseer. Activate. She's not going to be able to use her scale ability, so we'll have to actually do a climb here. And let me double check on that fortified city. If I move onto it voluntarily, is that going to do anything? First time any Titan moves onto this voluntarily. Test cunning. If this card flipped from scanning, gain danger equal to term. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, and suffer knockdown. Ooh. I don't... What's my cunning bonus? I think he has +1 to cunning. Yeah, just +1 to cunning. I don't really want to risk that. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then at that point, we just have to roll a d10 and try to not get the ambrosia. Okay. I could fly, but I think I'd rather save fly until I need it. Okay. So let's go. We're on the right camera, right? Yes. It's funny view. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, actually, let me check the diagonal movement rules. Does the I think obstacles only I'm not going to check it. I think obstacles only interfere with the diagonal movement rules, obstacles and other figures. So then we will do a rage check. We only need to get 5 or higher now because we have a generic token on here. Or I'm sorry, it's normally 8. We reduce that to 7. She can reduce that to 6 because she has +1 to fury. She needs 6 or higher. That's a 7. So she will climb successfully. Let's use reflex priming on exhaust, that and that. Then she will attack. And get this and this. She's gonna have +2, 3, 4, 5, +5 to hit, so just 2 or higher. Just do not crit miss, the only thing. It's an 8 and a 9. We'll take it. This would have been another good card to crit on. Remembrance is a nice card. Okay. And let's see, we are on super solid right, so we don't have to worry about any additional AT value here. So we're gonna get 1 black and 3 red. Yes, and auto break 1. And we need a 7 on this. Okay, let's do 2 reds. Boom. Amazing. That's 4. That is not cocked. Okay, I'll take that. That's 4. That's 9 total. Yeah, wow, okay. We will get the Bellerophonic condition. Bellerophonic? Not sure. And this says, add +2 to climb and hold on tests. If you gain this card again, automatically move to the VP even if not adjacent, or if you are already on the VP, you may gain +1 fate to perform a bonus attack. It's a very nice condition. Rare to have a good condition, but there are some. Without that, we wound this. Go into our wound pile there. It'd be 5, and we'll get an additional single wound here, so we're at 8 wounds total. And that will be a BP3 that we're going to get into our stack here. Three, 2, 3, 2, 1. BP2. AI2 comes out. AI3 comes in, and I think this is our ultimate. It is. 3, 2, 1. AI2. Then, oh, I didn't roll for her to check for her ambrosia. I'm gonna do 6 or higher does not gain the ambrosia. I know it's the opposite of what the card says, but I like higher rolls as being good. So 6 or higher does not gain ambrosia. 8, we do not gain ambrosia. Okay. And that's from her having moved through the tile and she did not use fly. Then we will, oh, wasn't showing the dice. Whoops. I promise it was an 8. These will come out. That is going to be, 2 opening. We did not get a crit chance, so we don't get the break. Opening, then we can get a third opening in a black. And we will have reposition 4. I think maybe we'll go like here, 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't need that on there anymore. And that'll end her turn. I might just get on the VP with Logic Breaker first, or at least attempt to. And because if we wound with him on the VP, oh, we can't really get, he's not going to have reposition, so he wouldn't be able to get off the VP. Oh, no, he would be able to, because he, I forget, for a, to initiate the climb test on advantage point, let me check the rules here, because I don't think it's like the cliff tiles from the Burden fight. I think for this, you just have to be adjacent to the primordial, whereas the cliff tiles say like while you are moving, essentially. Yeah, during voluntary movement is what the cliff tiles say. Give me 1 second. Yep, a Titan adjacent to the primordial may perform a climb test as a free action. Simply test the skill specified on the primordial sheet. Cool. All right, so yeah, we can go with Logic Breaker and do our plan and hopefully just end the fight this round. Boom, activated. Do a climb test. They will get +2 to their Fury, yellow, so they need, it's normally an 8 or higher, -1 from the generic token, that's 7 or higher, -2, 5 or higher. 8, I'll take that. Climb the VP. And we will attack with our puzzle axe. We're gonna have +2 from that, and then, okay, so we just need, so we're gonna have +5 total, we just need not a crit miss. Boom, 5, we'll take it. No crit. Oh man, I'm getting all of the BPs that have the crit items on them, just not critting on them. Well, the one I did crit on, I just didn't wound. That's okay. I may end up fighting the Chimera more instead of the Cyclonus in this cycle because, number 1, better crit gear. Number 2, I think just better tech tree gear, if I remember. That one I'm much less positive on. But I would like to try to get some of the crit gear from the Chimera. Jaws of the Lion, I think, is... Because I think it... I'm not going to spoil anything. We'll get it when we get it. All right. We are still super solid, right? Yes. So, if your weapon had, oh, we do have the axe trait. If you, well, okay, nice. We're getting into 1 auto break from Logic Breaker, 1 auto break from Puzzle Axe, 1 auto break from, or not auto break, but just this axe trait for the Lion Head. And we will do our attack roll now. That's going to be 4 red dice. Oh, he should be at 3 rage. You have to remember, he has auto break. We need to pay, or not auto break, over break. We need to pay attention to that. We need 5 on this. That is 4 plus 3. That is 7. I will take that. Do I want to try to use a black on that, on this die? Yeah, sure, let's do it. We're gonna use the black on this. Okay, cool. We got 8 now, right? 3, 6, 8. Yes. Nice. So we will wound, we will gain the Bellerophonic condition. Where did I put that? Oh, it's the first one here. come out. Wait, no, we're gonna keep this here. That was like that. That is a wound. Go to our wound stack here. It goes up to 6. 6 wounds. We'll get another wound on our secondary stack. So we're at 10. We need just 2 more wounds total. We would get a BP3 in here. And then we have our best attacker still to come. 3, 2, 1. Just a BP2, no BP3s. AI 2 comes out. AI 3 goes in. I think we're making up for some of those crits that we were getting in that Cyclonus fight. 3, 2, 1. With a lack of crits, I should say. Come back here. Clear that. This comes out. We had overbreak. I'm going to get 3 breaks from overbreak, so we're rage 3. And then I think that's all I'm going to get. Oh, an opening 1 from the axe. And then we will use his movement, because we have not used that yet, and just go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, let's just go there. All right, and last but not least, we will go with Earthshaker. Hopefully the final Titan turn of this battle. Activated, we will need to use Minoan Heritage. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get adjacent. And then I think we'll have to gain the ambrosia here, I think, because we're ending our movement on it. There's no choice. Yes. So gain 1 ambrosia. And then we will do our climb test. Get a green die here. So we need 6 or higher for this. Boom. 4 fate reroll. 8. Nice. That was a crazy roll there. So we will get on the VP. It's really good that we succeeded on that, because otherwise we were maybe going to have to deal with an AI 3. Then we will get 2 dice to attack. We're going to have +4, +5. We just can't crit miss. Go up 1 rage. It's going to be a 7 and an 8. Well, I don't think there's any. I think he only has 3 cards that have crit effects that give gear, and I think we've one's in the discard, 2 is already in the wound pile, so I don't think there's a point to try to reroll this. Maybe I should have been more aggressively going after crits this fight. Next time. So we will just draw this, right? No, not 2 cards, just 1. No auto abilities. Okay. And we are on gelatinous right now, so I think we're gonna have to deal with a +1 to the AT. So we're gonna have to get 7 or higher, but we have 1 bonus power from Pure Asclepios, so we need 6 or higher. We're gonna get 2 black, 2 red. And we're just gonna roll this. Not a great roll. Oh no, that should be enough, right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then 8 from Pure Asclepios. Sweet. We wound. As you stab deep, the black acidic cell gorges on your weapon. If your weapon is not relief stone, I think this actually doesn't matter because this is the killing blow. But it is stone anyway, so we wouldn't have to worry about it. And it's discarding it, not like permanently losing it. So we can ignore it. But we'll get this into our regular wound stack. We'll get another wound into our secondary wound stack. Oops. And so we are now at 12 and we win. Woohoo. So let's do our resources here then. Oh yeah, this fight has some special rules for getting the resources. Let's put our wounds that are in our normal stack out. 2, 2, 2, 1. It's just BP 1s and 2s. Then, let's see, gain resources based on the number of wounds in the regular wound stack, then count the number of bonus cards, cross-checking the secondary wound stack and the regular wound stack. Refer to the table below. We have 7 wounds in our regular wound stack, and 5 wounds in the secondary. That is going to give us a bonus of a BP2 and a BP3. So let's just pull out the first BP2 and 3 we see in that. Okay. Cool, so put that there, and this here. I'm not even showing you the cards. Look at that view. Blinding, blinding light. There you go. That doesn't really help you, does it? Okay. Well, let's see, we'll go to our cargo tab here. Let me make sure I'm going through all these things. Reset Triskelions, if I can speak correctly. I'll do that later. Subtract 3 Argo Fate. Let's do that first. I only have 1 Argo Fate to lose because we just did a battle before this. Go back to cargo. And then we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 Violent Ambrosia. We will get 1, 2, 3, 4 of the Super Solid Relief Mass. And then we will get just 1 of the Chimeric Tar. Nice. So that was the Chimera. Level 1 Chimera is pretty simple. Both Chimera and Cyclonus get a decent difficulty bump in their level 2 because they're going to get traits that, based on the number of wounds that you deal to them, they're going to be doing more attacks. So this is just kind of like an introduction to their, their traits. And based on our evolution chart, we will be fighting a level 2 monster regardless of if we go Cyclonus or Chimera. But I'll almost certainly be going Chimera for the next few fights, I think. At least the next 2. Just because I want to try to get some of those pieces of crit gear and try to get some cores. Because we already have 2 cores from Cyclonus, right? It's 2 cores that we have. Yeah. That's a good start to him. 2 fights, 2 cores. Pretty good. In terms of what we could do differently, like reflecting on this fight, I mean, it's an easy fight. When we get to level 2 and above, we're going to have to be more cautious about when we are dealing wounds, what our positioning looks like. I may want to try to start getting back into more out of reach of aids, especially with the Chimera, because he's fairly easy to OOR. I mean, only having a move of 5, and now we do have a decent amount of gear that gives us bonus movement. Like, that kind of puts us in a position where it's decently possible to be able to attack and then get out of range for an OOR. But it all just depends on being able to know which AI cards are going to be coming up, like what his targeting is going to be. And I just don't remember how often. I know different targeting things he has are like obviously closest in front in range. We saw a ranged card, so we had to deal with that. Then there are some cards that are just all Titans on VPs. And that might be mostly it. I don't know how many cards that he has that are just in sight. So maybe we'll try to OOR. I don't know. I've mentioned it in many videos, but I just have an aggressive play style, and I generally prioritize getting more attacks off over OOR evades, but as we start having to deal more and more with ambrosia, especially from this primordial, we'll want to be more careful about those attacks, because I think all of its attacks, or just about all of his attacks, steal ambrosia. So ambrosia death is the most likely that we've seen against any primordial. Like Chimera gives the most ambrosia tokens compared to any primordial that we've seen so far. But I'm going to have to change my loadout soon, I think. I do need to start looking at some of the gear that we can craft. I don't know that I've been doing a good job of going up the combat tech trees. I've just been kind of like willy-nilly picking, not really thinking too far ahead. So it's nice that we got the 13th Muse Grand Cannon, especially for when we're fighting Cyclonus and the Nietzschean for that combo breaking. But maybe I prioritized it a little bit too early. Who's to say? But we'll go ahead and end the video there. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you in the next one, which will probably be doing an adventure video, and we'll catch up on all that stuff there. So take care.